He was 25 when he earned $51,000 in 9 months using AI. You're not late. You can do this too.
He simply understood one thing, and in 9 months he made $51,000. If you still think AI is just a toy, you're not going to like this story. He was 25 years old and he found himself in a strange state between there's still time to try and it's already time to decide. On paper, everything looked fine. An education, basic skills, internet access, health, but inside there was no sense of beginning. It felt like a frozen loading screen. He lived in a small city, rented a room, and started every morning the same way. Coffee, a laptop, dozens of open tabs, freelance platforms, job listings, career advice articles, and endless suggestions to find your thing. He applied, tried, waited. Some months he made $600, other months $900, sometimes less. The money covered basic expenses but never created momentum. The hardest part wasn't the lack of income, it was the lack of direction. He didn't feel like he was moving toward anything. Every day felt like preparation that never turned into a start. At some point, he realized that if he continued like this, a year later, the numbers would be the same, only the calendar would change. When conversations about AI started popping up everywhere, his first reaction was irritation. Too much noise, too many identical examples. People were showing how neural networks could write texts, generate images, create videos. It looked impressive, but not useful. He couldn't see a product in it. Instead of copying what others were doing, he decided to slow down and study the tool. Evenings, 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes more. Meaning he wasn't looking for the perfect output. He was interested in the process, why one prompt worked and another didn't. Why similar prompts produced different results, where the magic ended and the logic began. The first 2 months brought almost nothing financially, around $300 total. But this was when he made the most important shift. He stopped seeing AI as a miracle. He started seeing it as raw material, unstable, imperfect, but potentially valuable. By the end of the second month, he didn't have a portfolio or clients. He had understanding. He realized that value doesn't appear at the moment of generation. It appears at the moment when chaos is turned into structure. The turning point didn't come with a dramatic scene. No sudden revelation, just a small request from an acquaintance who was building a website for a project. They needed text and a few social media posts, short deadline, small budget. He used AI, but not as a one-click solution. He ran multiple variations, selected, rewrote, restructured. He adapted the content to the task, the audience, the goal. When the work was done, the acquaintance asked for the price. He said $80, almost at random. The agreement came instantly, no negotiation, no questions, and that moment stuck with him. He realized something important. The client didn't care how it was made. What mattered was that it worked and was delivered. After that, he started paying attention to who else had this exact need. Not big companies, not agencies, small businesses and solo entrepreneurs who needed content regularly but didn't want to build a team. They didn't want to learn tools. They wanted the problem solved. He created a simple offer, a monthly subscription, no complicated packages, $199 per month for a fixed amount of ready-to-use content. First month, 3 clients. He handled everything himself, manually controlling every step. He worked about 4 hours a day, documenting successful templates, prompts, and structures. Second month, 7 clients. The income was still modest, but a rhythm began to form. He noticed something crucial. The same content could be adapted into multiple formats. One request could become a series of materials. The time spent per client decreased while quality increased. By the end of the 4th month, he had 18 subscribers and a stable income of around $3,500 per month. It wasn't the kind of success people brag about online, but it was the first time the system started working without constant pressure. The story stopped being an experiment. It started becoming a business. Growth didn't feel like growth at first. There were no sudden jumps, no viral moments, no public validation. Everything happened quietly, almost invisibly. New clients arrived not through ads or social media, but through recommendations. One business owner mentioned him to another. A founder forwarded his contact in a private chat. His name began circulating in small circles where people valued reliability over hype. By the 5th month, he had 22 active subscribers. By the 6th, 27. The monthly income crossed $6,000, then stabilized. What surprised him most was not the money, but how little chaos there was, and he wasn't rushing, he wasn't overwhelmed. The system he built earlier absorbed the growth. He refined his workflow further. Prompts became modular, outputs were reusable. A single core idea could be transformed into a landing page, a short video script, a newsletter, and several social posts. I did the heavy lifting, but direction and judgment remained human. His daily work time dropped to 3 to 3.5 hours. Even as revenue increased, he also added one-off services, launch content packs, AI-assisted landing pages, product descriptions. These were priced between $120 and $350 and brought in an extra $1,500 to $2,000 per month without disrupting the core subscription model. For the first time in years, he wasn't chasing income. He was maintaining momentum. Around the 7th month, pressure appeared, not from lack, but from abundance. More inquiries came in than he could comfortably handle. Some clients asked for faster turnaround, others wanted custom solutions outside the system. He felt the temptation to scale, hire help, raise prices aggressively, expand, but he hesitated. He remembered why this worked: the clarity, the control, the quiet. Instead of expanding outward, he optimized inward. He capped the number of subscribers. He standardized communication. He said no more often than yes. This restraint protected the system. His income remained stable in around $6,500 per month, but his stress stayed low. There were weeks when he worked less than 20 hours total, and yet payments kept coming. For the first time, he experienced what leverage actually meant. Not working less because of luck, but because of structure. By the end of the 8th month, he added up the numbers. The total was approaching $45,000. He didn't celebrate, he didn't announce anything. He simply adjusted his expectations of what was possible. In the 9th month, he finally sat down not to work, but to calculate the result. In no emotions, no expectations, just opening a spreadsheet and seeing what was there. The number was precise and required no interpretation. $51,000 in 9 months. Not theoretical revenue, not projected potential, but real money that actually landed in his account. And this income was built gradually: recurring subscriptions, one-off projects, small upsells, nothing explosive, nothing risky, just steady accumulation. On average, about $5,600 per month. But the amount wasn't the most important part. What mattered was that the money didn't demand constant pressure. He wasn't working 12-hour days. He wasn't dependent on a single client. He wasn't living from launch to launch. The system generated income even during weeks when he barely touched it. That was the moment he realized he hadn't just earned money. He had earned predictability. If money used to be something he chased, it had now become a side effect of a well-designed process. AI sped up execution, but it didn't create value by itself. Value appeared where chaos was removed and scattered ideas were turned into clear solutions. And this income didn't radically change his external life. He didn't move, he didn't buy expensive things, he didn't perform success, but internally something shifted. The fear of instability disappeared. He understood that he could repeat this result, not once, not by luck, but again and again, because he now understood where the money actually comes from, and that became the real outcome, not the $51,000, but the understanding that money can be built, not chased. That realization turned out to be worth more than any number.